Market was strong yesterday. We made kind of a new multi-month high. It was near the high. Small gap down this morning. So we'll watch for this band right here as support. $279.70 to $280. Flush on the open. Retakes. Starts to hold above. Look for it to move back up to top of the range. Anything through this area here, and we start to become a little bit more suspicious. Again, there's been nothing to indicate in the market that to expect any large pullback thus far. On IWM, so I guess at the end of the day, we touched this 168 again. After the initial failure up here near 170, we had one break of this support area, and we've been kind of holding. Yesterday, we dipped below for a few minutes, below 167, got right back above. So it's pretty tight. Volatility compressed as well in IWM. Good for market neutral traders the last week and a half. Nothing different than I said the last couple of days until we see a close above this area right here. Not really thinking about a test to the all-time high or a move to a new high. And need to see some closes below 167 to start thinking of a larger move to the downside. Basically, hard bounce back up to the high. This is kind of like a little flag here, so it's holding above this flag now. You get a close here, and be looking for the move through the high. All right, eBay. So eBay is an interesting one. I probably should do a video on this. So yesterday they came up with earnings and they lowered guidance, and it's pretty bearish. In fact, I wasn't even comfortable even trying to buy it until here, which it got to, I guess, now 34.5. Actually put in a bid there when the numbers came out. And they dropped it right away to here, and then it bounced. And I started to short it into here. Let's take a look. So I started to short it in here. Actually got my last offer got taken pretty much at the high at 38.80. And then a big 50,000 share seller came down to 38.5. I thought, well, they guided lower, but maybe, I don't know, maybe the stock does have a tendency to do some strange things. I'm like, maybe it'll just come back down to 37 and that'll be it. And it did that in about 5 minutes. It came back down to 37. It bounced a little bit to 37.60. And I left. Apparently, it drifted all the way back down to 35.5 in the next couple hours. And this morning, some downgrades, some negative comments, and it's at 34.50. So, I mean, there's a lesson to be learned there, which is, and I know Shark was shorting the shit out of it here too, which is, in the after hours, it's just much easier to manipulate stocks. And although we were right about the news, they were able to push it up through the day's high before it sold all the way back down to 35.5. Now it's the next support. You know, you got to be careful in after hours. Now we got to think about how to short it at these levels or even play for a bounce. So first things first, if it flushes through 34.50 on the open down closer to 34, I'm going to get long. Play for a bounce back up to 35 to 35.5. Many times in the last 3 or 4 years, I've had a short bias on this, and I've seen it have bigger bounces than I would expect. So I'm mentally very prepared for it to go back up to 36 or 36.5 or even 37. But my initial bias on tops will be to short it, especially if it can get back up to here, this 35.50, the after hours low. Here's the daily. Still in a longer term uptrend. Kind of got ahead of its out up there. There is some more downside to the bottom of this channel, down to like the low 30s. That's bigger picture. I have no idea what the hell this was all about up here. I probably was shorting it. There was some sort of rumor or something. Maybe they were going to get private, or who knows. Anyway, it sold off hard the next couple of days. Beginning of the year. And this, you can see there's a lot of support in here. That's why I'm buying it there. If it closes below 34, maybe this is the beginning of a deeper pullback. Let's see. At the end of last year, it was below $30. Kind of skeptical that it could get below here in the coming days and weeks. You can see even on the way down, like just, I mean, look, if you think about it, it went up here, came off $5, big bounce, comes off $5, big bounce, comes off $5, $3, almost a $4 bounce. So you can see it did it again. So that's what I'm talking about. Every time it shows weakness and takes out a support level, like here, what does it do? Consolidates below the support level, breaks back above. It just has a history of people stepping in. It's just not a clean downtrend at all. It's just wild up and down action. So that's why I'm prepared to trade it on the long side. AXP. So options were pricing in a 5+% move on this one. I still remember trading this in the $50 area. I don't know, was it like a year or two ago? It's actually 2.5 years ago. I was buying it like 57, went all the way down to like 52, and started a multi-year uptrend. So buyer is definitely in control of this one now. We're gapping below 100, the psych level. So let's see how long it's been consolidating here. So since the beginning of the year, it's basically failed a bunch of times to break above, including yesterday coming to earnings. So maybe that's why it's gapping down. People bought it for the breakout, assuming it was going to be good. It's not really a lot of people trapped, but you know, I could see people starting to get nervous below 99. So initially it went to 99, they popped it back up to 100. Let's see, what do we got for levels? So it's pretty conservative, 101. These are my two resistance levels. Seller's definitely in control right now. Bigger picture, although they've stepped up here to 99.70-ish. I guess if you see a clean move above 100 right on the open, above 100 spot 20, maybe you'll get that move to 101, and then we'll kind of see. But basically prepared initially to trade it inside of this range. The midpoint of guidance is below consensus, so I'm not counting on it breaking through 99, but I'm happy to, if it does start to hold below here. If we go back a couple of weeks, it was down as low as 96.75. So it's holding below 99. I'm happy to play it on the short side. Move back down to here. AA. All right, AA. So, and this one, I was shorting this in the spring at around 60. So this was nuts. It went straight up from 40 to like, this was during the Trump was going to do steel tariffs, and like some of these companies were going nutty. Obviously, that didn't end up working out so well for them. So it went up to 60. Now it's tested 44 a bunch of times. All right, so we can see this is another one. It was in a nice wild downtrend. You can see held the March, April support. Actually dipped below it a little bit twice, right? And then got bid back above. So they were buying it coming into earnings a little bit. So I guess the way I look at this is, so right now it's below 47, it's 46.5. If in the next couple of days it actually took out this 48 here, I'd be looking for a decent bounce back up at the 50. And $45.5. Do I have that on the sheet? Yep, I do. Initial reaction low here. So people were looking clearly at the support. You can see in the after hours low, that was 45.50. I guess as long as it's below 47, you play it on the short side. Obviously, if it's holding above 47, you can see it was just for the last week going up and down through there. Other than coming into earnings yesterday, some people were buying it in the morning. So you got some good levels to trade off of. 47 by 45.5, which is about what the ATR is. And then DHR, small beat, small raise, spinning off their demo unit. And we just got bid up again since I started talking to you guys. So it was down at 104, so that's kind of the breakout price. I was hoping for a retest of that on the open, maybe even a flush below. So you can see very clearly this resistance here, 104 to 104.30. And you can see the buyers were actually stepping up for a couple months here, but it didn't break to the upside. It actually broke to the downside. And now with this good news, good guidance, spin off of a unit, the logical thing would be that you would think that this breakout could hold and it could go up kind of where the pre-market high was. And we can see over the next few days if it keeps going. So we don't really have they're on the conference call right now. We don't have a lot of volume, but the idea is even if it sprays down below 104 to like 103 or something, and you buy some, you want to see it get back above here, hold above 104, and then by like late morning, you want to see it probably at least at 105 plus consolidating, and then play, long bias breakouts to the upside from any type of consolidation above this area here. $1.44 ATR, so even if it flushes below 104 here on the open, it has a 2 ATR move, takes it back up to here. CBio from yesterday, I found to be relatively easy on the short side. Probably says pretty conservative, waiting till it got to close to 13 to short it on the open. That made all the difference. It came back down. You probably heard me say that my last bid was at around 1180, 1185, something like that. So that worked. I wasn't around for this retest of 13. I mean, it actually looked pretty good on the long side. If you look at it just on it bottoms here, it makes a higher low, then it consolidates above 12. I think actually Aaron put this in the chat. It was consolidating and it broke to the upside here. Nothing wrong with playing that on the long side. Just you want to understand what we talked about in the pre-market. There was a big 13 seller that caused it to go to 11, and if it fails at 13 here and starts to hold below, and starts coming down, it can go all the way back down to here, which it did eventually at the close. So sellers are in control. And this is some real volume here. These people were watching this consolidation, seeing it hold higher. They bought into this, and then they all hit all the way out. I continue to just kind of use this 12.5 and 12. So these are the two spots I'd look at it, see if they're selling here. And then 11, 1085 support. I'd be very careful about being short down here. Really want to see it holding below 1085. No, I don't really have anything to add on that. I don't think there's much edge, although CMCSA could react positively to that. I've been watching that one on the longer term as a longer term hold. Oh, and it is reacting positively. I didn't even punch it up until now. So it would have been a little desperate if they kept on paying up for Foxy's assets. And the last I read about that, I'm not sure, maybe somebody's been following more closely, was they were going to go after some sports assets, local sports, which seems to be more in their wheelhouse right now. The entertainment assets is really a way for them to try to be able to compete longer term with Disney, who just has so much content, and AT&T, which just got Time Warner, obviously, and the government's probably not going to win that on appeal. So then I started buying this, looking for longer term plays when it was down in the 32 area. In fact, I think I caught this move here. I didn't buy it back when it came back down to 32, I don't think. But I do like this one longer term, and you can see this news got it back to 35. It failed here back in March. So my thought process was longer term would get back up here to $38 to $40. So I think if you could pick some up here at 34.60. 35 is a very tough level. Or after the open, if it's still consolidating in this 35 area and breaks to the upside, definitely trade it in the long side. Normally trades like 30 million shares a day, so it's very liquid. Yeah, I got no comment on Tesla. UAL ended up being really strong yesterday. I think we had 76.5 as resistance. It blew through that on the open. 78 was the next kind of longer term resistance. It came back, did the retest of 76.50 late morning, and then closed near the high. So this one seems like it's going to get to $80. If they get a drop out on the open close to like 78, 78.25, that would be a spot where I'd get involved. Just for those who are newer, I have a tendency, stocks like, what are good examples? Tesla, Netflix, Bob, all the high betas, there's too much of a tendency in short-term trading for people to try to trade those every day because they move so much. The reality is that doesn't mean that they're good trading setups every day. I know they did get a downgrade today, so but it was from a no-name firm. And I like to have people avoid overtrading them. I've just seen too many people never make it as traders because of the overtrading of those names. But we try to take a look at it at the kind of on the big days, like down here we did. It's at yesterday's support. So as long as it holds 315, 316, that's kind of been an important support over the last couple of weeks.